I want to share with you this bit of writing by one of my favorite poets, Rainer Maria Rilke. It goes, "To love does not mean to surrender, dissolve, and merge with another person. It is a noble opportunity for an individual to ripen, to become something in and of himself. To become a world in response to another is a great and modest challenge that has sought him out and called him forth." Oh, gosh, just to start, that is just beautiful language, beautiful writing. But I'm bringing this up because it resonates with me, and I just have these flashes of my own experience when I read it. The very first part, right? To love does not mean to surrender, dissolve, and merge with another person. So many people, myself included, we're willing to merge with another person. We are willing to lose our sense of self in order to enter a relationship. We're willing to neglect our own needs, to put theirs above ours, to not nurture our own interests and our relationships outside of this romantic one. And we become what's now more commonly known as codependent. Because, ultimately, in order to enter this sort of relationship, you sort of enable one another. So it's not like it's all on one person. But when you enter this codependent dynamic, it's like you are a single whole, but you need two people. You need two people in order to be whole. You depend on the wholeness. You depend on the other person for wholeness to feel complete. Because deep down, you feel that as you are, there's something missing, quite not there. But if you enter this relationship with this person, no matter what happens, no matter how the dynamic actually is, no matter if it's actually a healthy relationship, no matter if it's actually one in which the other person shows up for you, as long as you're in a relationship, that's all that matters. And that was definitely the case for me when I was falling hard for my crush in college. There were so many times when I put her needs above my own, when I said yes when I wanted to say no, when I altered my own behavior knowingly, consciously, just to, have a chance at entering into a relationship with this person. Because I didn't realize this at the time, but I depended on her, and not necessarily her, but the idea of her, the idea of being with someone else to complete me, to finally be whole. But what happens when that gets taken away? Because if you are two people who comprise this whole in this relationship, what happens when the other person splits away or starts to feel like they're distancing themselves? You start to feel like your world, your life is falling apart because if you don't feel whole, nothing else matters in life. Your sense of wholeness determines absolutely everything in your day to day. And if that's not there, you're going to start reacting. You're going to start doing what you can to try and keep them in your life, to try and keep this sense of wholeness. So definitely remember when things started to fizzle out, I started to feel the distance and whatnot, I would just have these spikes of anxiety, even resentment, honestly, because I was like, oh my gosh, like how is she not treating me the way I want to be treated? But I was just as complicit because I wasn't saying anything. I wasn't saying anything because I was more fixated on maintaining the dynamic, maintaining this sense of wholeness. Really, it was just a false sense of wholeness. Because once things fizzled out, life crashed and burned for me, to put it lightly. But it was at that moment when, as Rilke puts it, was a noble opportunity for an individual to ripen, to become something in and of himself, to become a world in response to another. It's a great and modest challenge that sought him out and called him forth. In that moment, after who knows how many failed attempts, I finally started to work on this relationship with myself, to become a world in and of myself. So that's what's most important when it comes to a relationship, is are you whole as you are on your own without the other person? Because if you're not, you're going to be spending your life, your days in this relationship, constantly seeking the other person, depending on the other person for a sense of wholeness, to live your life. It's conditional love, right? Your love is conditional on that person being there, playing this role for you, making you feel whole, complete. And it's only when you do the work, the inner work, to build that sense of self, or rather to realize that you are whole as you are. That's the truth. We talk about, you know, wholeness, building a relationship with yourself, as if there's some destination to reach, as if you're here and wholeness is over here, worthiness, however you want to call it. But right now, right here, in this moment, you are whole. You are complete, just as you are. You don't have to do a thing. Because it's only the influence of others that start to make you think that you're not whole and complete as you are. So when you come into the world, I personally don't remember, but I can't say that I ever felt inadequate, incomplete, not whole. It was only as I started to grow older that I really started to form this dependency, this unhealthy dependency on my parents and validation and whatnot, which just carried over into adulthood. That's really what happened. That's really what happens to a lot of people. It was only when, in the midst of that heartbreak and that pain of not being able to fully merge with someone else, did I realize, or rather, did I receive the call to go forth and become a world of my own, to be myself as I am. And that has led to everything shifting in my life the past couple of years. Because you bring your sense of wholeness wherever you go. And it's only after I realized not having to become someone I'm not, but realizing as I am whole, complete. Have I been able to make all of these decisions in my life that I would never imagined possible? For so many people, they're unable to because they're depending on someone or something else for a sense of wholeness. And that desire, that attachment is so strong that they're unable to do the things they dream of, live the way they want. Because they're looking for wholeness everywhere other than right here, right now. And above all, when it comes to a relationship, I mean, think about it. If it takes two people to make a whole, you're not really getting the best bang for your buck. But if you have two people who independently, on their own, realize they're whole and complete, are able to live their lives as they are, when you come together, it'll naturally flourish and become something you never could have expected, you never would have experienced if you simply merged with someone else. That's for certain. So, if you're currently in or you have been in a relationship dynamic where there's been some codependency, you've felt this need to merge with another person, I encourage you to sit a moment, even just a moment, with that desire, with that feeling, and just be curious with it. Be curious. Just try to understand where that feeling is coming from and go from there. So, with that, if there's any questions you'd like me to address, or you just appreciate beautiful language, let me know. But otherwise, I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. Have a lovely rest of your day.